Okay, next one, which is a little bit quite important if you are a leader. So why this one is important? This is the 5 stages of a group development. That means a group is developed through these stages, and in particular, much more of a formal group teams. So they develop in terms of stages. You have to understand there are 5 stages. Why you need to understand these 5 stages? Because to understand 5 stages, then you can manage them well because you understand how they behave during these 5 stages. So the first stage is that it's a bit uncertain, right? And people join the group, they just throw together, maybe you join a company, right? And then it was very uncertain. You're not quite sure what's supposed to do. And when a group start to form at that particular juncture, it was kind of a bit messy. Everybody do not know what they're doing, and the structure is not very clear, and also do not have so much of a idea of who is going to be the leader. So this is a way whereby structure is being formed, purpose is being realized, and leader is being formed at that group during the formation stage. After which, why we need to have this? Because sometimes as a leader, you need to use your feet to test the water to make sure that how the group is performing at which stage. Then you can introduce your management to them. Otherwise, then things may not be correct. So the next stage is the intra-conflict. Because at this stage, there will be a lot of resistance, right? People argue among each other. Who is supposed to be leader and what is supposed to be the agenda. Some people may disagree. Some people may receive. Some may even left this place, right? During the storming stage. So storming is a messy area whereby a lot of noise is being made. People voice their grievances. People tell the differences, and this is an area whereby conflict is at its highest peak. So next is the norm. They quiet down already. Norm means people get to used to the group. Then the group become more cohesive. That means they try to understand, right? And then there is norm means there is a way in which they're supposed to do things. And people understand that they have to do this way and that way. So a norming means the way people do and people understand it. And the group have a norm whereby people accept it. And in this area on number 3, people are more cohesive, right? And the group now form their own group identity. I mean, they know who they belong to, maybe group A, because I'm group A, it's very clear that under group 3, people accepted the group and follow the way the group is moving. So this is number 3. Number 4, it is the area whereby become productive, right? Things are quiet down, differences are being ironed out, right? Norm is being followed. And then that's where at stage number 4, people about to produce productivity, right? And so why manager need to know all these things, right? Because if you were to introduce messy or very high goal, high expectation on 1, 2, and 3, then you are not doing it correct. Because 1, 2, and 3, it is a time whereby things are a little bit uncertain and people are not productive. So if you want to introduce something, it's better that you see the level or the stage in which they are in. Then you start to apply a little pressure to ask for productivity. And number 4 is the area which you can highlight expectation a little bit more in detail. And as all stages, it's kind of like a project team. Every team must somehow or other end. And this is a way whereby people shake hands, things are being done, project is being completed, and the group have to adjourn. They have to dissolve, they have to break down, they have to each go each other way. So you look at these 5 stages, right? So when you are told to task to talk what is supposed to be a strategic leader, right? You have to apply a little bit of this to tell the examiner understand group formation, group development, right? A strategic leader not only be mindful of this area, you have to be mindful about the strategic area, about vision, mission, value, and in sync with that, or hand in hand, he have to understand the level of their follower, and especially in a group, every follower not work by itself as individual. They have to work as a group. So a leader must manage or lead a group. Therefore, when we talk about group, we need to talk about group development. Okay, so in other tasks that follow, you can get ready to show your skill on the understanding of this group development and why they are using it. How do you use in conjunction with strategic so-called elements? Okay, so the next thing, which is quite important, is the critique of this 5 stage. So we talk about advantage, we talk about disadvantage. Just to have a bit of balance. When we say that advantage is more head is better than one, a group work as a team can synergically be better than a group or with no group, right? But then there again, group has got a lot of disadvantage, and these are the disadvantage as a strategic leader that you ought to know. If you are to discuss the balance point between having a group and not having a group, having a team and not having a team. When we talk about group, in this area, we're talking about formal group, right? So what are the disadvantage points? And these are the 3 disadvantage points you are expected to have. You see, group cannot be effective initially, therefore it needs some learning curve. So during stage, the group may not be effective, right? So group effectiveness are not effective at the initial stage because you have 3 stages in which you are not productive, right? So the disadvantage of having a group or a team is that it takes time. It takes time for the team to be productive. Therefore, forming groups, forming teams become a disadvantage point because effectiveness is not there, right? As quickly as what you want it to be. So in certain situations whereby group need not to be formed because there is certain urgency of the matter. So next is the groups. When there is people, there is always conflict, right? So when there's conflict, then there are problems with the productivity. So when we are in the groups, many areas are blur, right? It's not clear, right? So there will be a lot of people who just sit around, become a passenger, and there's a lot of people who get so-called stints in a group. It's not easy for them to single. It's not easy for a leader or manager to single out their weaknesses of their productiveness. So they just mingle with the group and then just tag along as passenger. So this stage will somehow or other make it a good point for you to discuss that group is not an advantage point because people may somehow or other disguise and work less.